You know when you find a little collection of guitar, pedal and amp that just fits so well together, then you set that pedal in a little sweet spot that you find and then just want to riff for ages? That's been me for quite a while now. I've just been riffing out and not making a video because I just enjoy playing guitar. And that's because of, mainly, this. The Motherload from Crazy Tube Circuits, their new 2-in-1 pedal. Crazy Tube Circuits are doing lots of 2-in-1 pedals at the moment, and this is their latest. It's got an M and an R, which stands for Muff and Rat. So we've got two of my favourite fuzz/distortion pedals in one box. But the absolute selling point here is the fact that you can combine the tone regulations of the Muff with the Rat, or the Rat with the Muff, because it's not a Rat stacked into a Muff or a Muff stacked into a Rat. It is either a Rat or a Muff, but you can access the tone controls for both on each pedal. Now, I'll go into the intricacies of how the knobs and switches work in a moment, but let's hear some sounds from the Motherload. Here are my top 5 tones. Turn it off because it's a bit hissy. Right, up here we've got the very familiar gain, and over there we've got the very familiar volume. There's a little switch here which switches between Rat and Muff, and when I tell you that the Rat is the silver and the Muff is the gold, then these controls should make sense. We've got tone and voice, which are to do with the Muff controls, so when you're in Muff mode, this is always active, and this is silver, so when you're in Rat mode, this filter is always active. However, this filter is a standard Rat filter. This is not a standard Muff filter because we've got two controls and normally you have just the one. In fact, I've got my big Muff up there. Let's get it down. Right, so that's my big Muff from, I think, mid-2000s. Let's put it here. Oh, it doesn't quite fit, but you can see those three knobs. We've got volume, tone, and sustain. Maybe if I put it like that. So we have one tone knob, and on the Motherload, the Muff section, we have two. Now, a standard Big Muff tone control is actually a blend of a low-pass filter and a high-pass filter. And the low-pass filter lets all the bass stuff through, and the high-pass filter lets all the treble stuff through. So to get a bassier sound out of a Big Muff, you have the tone on that side. And then to get a treblier sound, you have the tone on that side. However, because the way this works, you often get a mid-cut where those two filters work against each other, or with each other. But the point is, if you're playing a Big Muff, standard Big Muff, you can get lost in the mix because of the way those two filters work. And that has been my complaint for many years about this, which is why I don't use this Big Muff anymore, but I still love it, which is why it sits up on my shelf in almost every video. Now let's pop it down there so you can see it. The tone knob on the Motherload works the same way as the tone knob on the Big Muff. Let's just turn off that link there because I've currently got the EQs linked together, which will go in a moment, I promise. Right, here is tone all the way to the left and voice all the way to the left. Now, the voice knob that Crazy Tube Circuits have put in apparently sweeps through all the muffs of all the different ages. I don't know what that means, but I do know that some muffs have more mids than others, and some mids are in a different place. But let's sweep it and see what happens. I'm going to put that tone knob back to about the middle. It really started to make a difference about there, right? So let's put it just left of the middle. Natalie Imbruglia song. Okay, so it seems subtle, but it kind of isn't. Like, compare those two extremes. There's more clarity when it's turned to the right, so it's becoming somehow richer and more guitar-like. Like, that's really muffled now. But then, if we push the tone all the way up to where it's nasty thin, what does it do? Again, richer, so it's making that nasty tone, that tone warmer. All these guitar terms that we talk about. So let's ignore all the muff stuff for a second, all the gold things, switch it to the rat, which is silver, and now we're talking about this. And just behind me is my 1987 Proco Rat. This, it's upside down. This Rat has the same controls now as our Crazy Tube Circuit Motherload. Pop it there. Now, distortion is gain, volume is volume, and filter is filter. And the filter knob on a Rat style pedal is a variable low pass filter, or high cut. So let's mess around with the low pass filter. And just like with a normal Rat, the more you turn up the filter, the less high frequencies get through that filter, so you get a darker sound. But this is where the Motherload comes in to its own, and I haven't seen another pedal do this. By pressing this switch just here, this combines the tone circuit of the Big Muff and the tone circuit of the filter from the Rat. And what that does is allows us to lose less highs on the Rat circuit, if you've got it switched just here to Rat, and it allows us to have more nastiness, less loss of mids on the Muff circuit. So let's try that out. Let's put everything to the middle, just because we're guitar players and that's where we think home is. So now we have more sonic abilities. Couldn't think of the word then. We are not stacking the Rat into the Muff. We are not stacking the Muff into the Rat. Those two gain circuits are not being combined. The only thing that's being combined is the tone stuff, which is new to me. New in the world of Rats and Big Muffs. I've seen plenty stackable stuff, and they're really cool, and I love those. What I've not seen is this before. So I'm going to play around with it for a little bit, and we can see what kind of ratty muffy sounds we can get. Important that we're on the Rat setting right now. If I flip that, we're on the Muff setting. So we've got two ways of controlling it. I don't know which is going into which. I guess that when you're in rat, the rat filter comes first, and that muff comes second, or is it working left to right? I don't know. Does it matter? It probably does matter. I'm guessing here. I don't know, but let's see if we can find out by just playing with it. I like that a lot. Now that feels like something new. It's not like they've just smashed a rat and a muff together. It feels like, firstly, it feels like it's working. It's not like one is fighting the other. It feels like the whole thing is working in synergy. And the rat and the muff do belong together. And they've been together many times before, such as with the Warlow from Jupiter Effects. But this feels refreshingly new, but heartwarmingly familiar. Like taking an old girlfriend on a new date restaurant. No. Hang on, wait a minute. Trying a new meal at a favourite restaurant. There we go, that'll do. Actually, I'm not sure that will do, but that's as far as I'm going right now. Let's just explore the gain possibilities. We've got to do some max gain on this Motherload, and then I'll review the pedal and tell you whether I think you should buy it or not. Not even at max gain yet. Let's see what happens there. Whoa. This might be a really long video, but I'm really enjoying this. Let's do Muff. Right, I could go on for a long, long time, but I think I've covered most of the sounds that I want to cover of the Motherload and the features. I hope that they've made sense to you, and I hope that I've explained them in a way that I'm trying to get across that, yes, you've probably seen this before, but not exactly in this manner. One thing that I haven't mentioned is the amp that I'm going through, which is this, the Victory Sheriff 25. When I first sat down to try out the Motherload, and indeed make this video, I went through my regular amp of the Fender Deluxe Reverb, and it doesn't sound as good as it does through the Sheriff. So here is the Motherload on those same settings, that big throaty growl, through the Fender. There's too much bass there, and yes, I could clear that up. Just doesn't sound as good. Now, this is the clean tone of the Fender. Beautiful, we all know it, we all enjoy it. Oh, I enjoy it. This is the clean tone of the Victory, which is a bit more driven. So I think it's really important that the Motherload, just like any other Muff / Rat, is going into an amp that's quite dirty. So that's the clean. And again, I could make adjustments to make it sound better on the Fender, but I don't want to. So I think that if you're using this running into a slightly dirty amp, you're going to be in for a lot of love and fun. Let's just put it through the Katana for a moment. Sorry, Katana clean tone. Yes, so it sounds even good through the Katana. For some reason, through the Fender Deluxe Reverb, it doesn't peel my banana. So, who's the pedal for? If you don't own a Rat or a Big Muff, here's a great opportunity to have both in one pedal and both be really, really good. Or, if you're into fuzz pedals and distortions and maybe doom, then you probably have quite a vast collection of distortion and fuzz pedals. However, here's a new one to add to that list. One thing to consider is that a brand new Rat pedal costs around $100, and a brand new Big Muff pedal will also cost you around $100. So what should convince you to spend that, plus another 50-ish bucks on a Crazy Tube Circuit's Motherload? Well, I have some thoughts on that. A truly good 2-in-1 pedal should be more than just the sum of its parts, not these two pedals just stuffed in the same box. And I will say that the Motherload is more than just these two stuffed in one box. You can do things with the Motherload that you can't do with just these two pedals on their own. Let me put this down for a second. The Motherload having that linked EQ section opens up new possibilities that I haven't seen before. I've seen a Muff with a Rat style EQ. I've seen a Rat with a Muff style EQ. I've never seen both pedals in one with an EQ that you can share and link together and have affect the other one. That's something new on me. The more I played this pedal, the more I loved it. And that's always a good sign, because sometimes with the distortion pedal, I can find it hard to review it properly because it is another distortion pedal. And sometimes, as a purchaser, you might think, do I need that other distortion pedal? And no, of course you don't. However, if you plug one in, or you listen to one on YouTube, or you hear a recommendation from a friend, and that thing inspires you to make some music, then you should jolly well go for it. And I've played riffs in this video that I haven't played for years, because when I dialed in that tone, it felt like I needed to play those riffs. It did feel a bit weird, however, that the Motherload came in the small box format rather than similar to the Unobtainium. So this big one, where you could have a rat and a muff and you could have everything linked together. That would be super cool to have like a super Motherload. Now, some of you might prefer to stack your rat into a muff or muff into a rat and do it that way, but that's going to take up more pedal board space, and honestly, there's so much gain on tap on the Motherload, and with the EQ sections being linked, it kind of feels like you're doing that anyway in the space of one pedal. And what I will say is the rats and muffs on their own are fantastic versions of those classic pedals. Something I did not mention earlier was that when you engage this link EQ, you also get a gain boost or a volume boost. And louder is better, right? So I actually preferred having the linked EQ turned on even when I wasn't tweaking the knobs to affect the EQ. It just sounded better and fuller. Also, this voice knob is really powerful. At first I thought it wasn't doing much, but when you go from one extreme to the other, it's very, very noticeable that it's very rich and full and warm and all those other words on this side. Now, if you know my channel, you know that I love fuzz pedals and I can never get tired of them. And I think at $255 or thereabouts, this is around the sort of price that you can be paying for just some fuzzes on their own. And the Motherload, I think the keyword here is versatility and probably fun as well. Yeah, so there are links to everything I've used in the video description right down there if you want more information. There's accurate pricing there as well, so any prices that I am quoting might be incorrect because this video will be online pretty much forever. So enjoy. Maybe it's gone up. Maybe this is the bad monkey of the future. Who knows? Anyway, this is the end of the video, which means you are in the end of the video club, and to prove that you are a member of this prestigious elite, when you leave your comment down below telling me what you think of the Motherload, also include the phrase, "Mummy, can I have one?" And that'll let me know that you watched this part and it's a bit of fun, you know. And you know that Google will also love me because you've typed something and that'll push the video up the rankings and more people get to see it. And they should see it because this is a great pedal. You will see much more of the Motherload on this channel. It's going to make my life easier because it's got all those sounds in one little box. Speaking of other sounds, there's other videos over there. Go and watch those or subscribe to the channel if you really fancy it. I've been Andy, you've been wonderful. See you soon. Bye-bye.